My name is Sebastian Stakset. I'm from Sweden, and I run an organization named the Heart of Evangelism. I've been studying Putin's movements ever since 2007, So I kind of knew he was going into the country to invade. And I gathered a lot of my friends, and I said, he's gonna invade. And a lot of them was like, no, we don't think so. But I was like, 100% he's gonna do it. Then when I saw it and I saw all the people, Ukrainians coming across the border, I just felt, like in my heart that, I have to do something. So I got a plane ticket and I went to Lublin. When I came to Lublin, we had a meeting with a lot of, it was pastors and a lot of people who wanted to help. And we had a medical truck from CMA in Sweden. And I was like, who's going to get the truck over the border? But nobody wanted to go to Ukraine, So I said, okay, I'll volunteer. And then I went. I think I went in the night on the 29th, and that night I came and I met to the first warehouse of CMA. And I met Rudy, That night we just decided, that we're going to start working together. Ukraine is like an ally of Sweden, because it's like if Russia takes Ukraine, and then what's next? Poland and Sweden, Finland, I was like, the Ukraine defends not only Ukraine but the rest of Europe. So I saw it as an obligation to do what I can. In Sweden, Heart of Evangelism main focus was working with addicts and to help prevent people from going into a life of crime. And we were helping people who's in prison and youth in prison and stuff like that. But when the war came, we evolved into a help organization with medical aid. We built the first hub in Lublin that could receive medical aid and help. That when we saw the enormous amount of goods coming from Norway, Ireland, Italy, Sweden, from all over the world, then you got specialized. First, in Ukraine, we started with food. Then we started with building shelters. Then we started building bakeries. Then we started to build a factory for ovens to the front, so people can get warm. But then more and more we just specialized together with Apotea and together with Rudy and CMA on the medicine, So it became that's became our specialty. We met Captain Andrew, when we were in Konstantinovka. There were a lot of bombs on us that night, but then he said, you're not ordinary volunteer, And I think that because I'm not used to war, but I'm used to chaos, and I can function under stress, and I can function in the war areas, very good. So I think that this was like a good job for me, and I think that my past has helped me to do this. But also because when you have been forgiven much, you love much, and then you want to give back and you want to help people, And also when I saw how unjust this war was, I remember when we were in Bucha and Borodyanka and in the beginning, and you saw, this is just people living here. When we were in Borodyanka, they pulled out 40 people in one day from dead from buildings and stuff. You can just smell death everywhere. And I was like, this is regular people. They have done nothing, But then you just come and you just bomb the life out of everything, Now, it was unjust war, and, history is going to judge, and I want to be on the right side of history. I think that God sent me to Ukraine, I think it was like a mission from Him. When we were in the Eastern Front, when we came, and we stopped the car, and all the children, all the women, all the men fled, but all the old people were still there, and they came out because they've been hiding, and they just look to your pockets because they're so hungry. that was like 80 years old, 75 years old, and also people in wheelchairs and couldn't. And that just broke my heart, you know. When I saw all the people, I prayed, and then I was like, God, what can I do? And I just heard it on the inside, just go, you know. And then I went, and then you saw by the fruit also that, you know, it was like supernatural experience. I got no, you know, I've been smuggling drugs and not medicine, you know. So, but when we started to work, it went so fast, and you can build so fast, and it was like everything that like we wanted to do, we did it, you know. So it's been a surreal experience, you know. But I'm standing with Ukraine until the war is over, you know. We open up bakeries, 6 bakeries, and one of the bakeries was in Konstantinovka, and the woman who ran the bakery, her name was Tatiana, and she refused to leave. You know, you know, Konstantinovka get bombed, like, so we need to evacuate. She was like, no, you know, just baking bread. You know, she was a very tough lady, but now she evacuated because she has had no choice. But you see a lot of these heroes. It's not like they don't have a big Instagram following and don't have TikTok account, but they're just there, you know, in the midst of battle and serving, you know, and have a servant's heart. You know, there's a lot of people inspired me. People thought you were gonna last like 3 days, 4 days, you know. Now it's 4 years, and you're still standing. So it's gonna end someday, you know. But don't give up, never give up, you know. And also, I think that if you are in Lviv, you know, you have also like obligation to help the front, you know, like you because a lot of people they can live in Lviv and don't be affected. You're all in the same boat together, and the front is keeping Lviv safe. So Lviv have to keep the front safe with the supplies also. When they told me also when you go to Ukraine, it's like you have to be careful. There's a lot of corruption. There's a lot, you know. When I saw in Ukraine, it was a lot of more pure-hearted people than in the rest of the world. So it's been an honor to work with Ukraine. You know, I've been everything we did was we're satisfied. Not once have I been like this was money in the sea or this was not worth it. And the CMA is like one of the most like best and most professional organizations I know. I work with a lot of big organizations all over the world, so the CMA is definitely one of my favorites. Very close to heart. I was like, Rudy, who's paying for salaries, warehouse, you know, like, so that's been my focus all the time, you know, to make sure that that the infrastructure can, because if the infrastructure is strong, then everything can flow out. But if the infrastructure is weak and there's no money for warehouse and salaries, and everything falls apart. And also the one who told Rudy that you cannot have only volunteers, you have to have medical educated staff, you know, to run this seriously. I can give you about standing together. Me, when we were in Kupiansk, the Captain Andrew, he said that I cannot promise you we'll survive this night, but I promise we will try. And then, you know, it was crazy. We were in the woods and we had artillery, and, you know, it was a lot of stuff happening, car bombs, you know. And I told him, if we survive this, I'm going to take you to Stockholm. I'm going to take you to a 5-star hotel. And we're going to eat at 5-star restaurant in Grand Hotel. You know, I give you my word. And it was 18 months later, he got his first leave to leave Ukraine. And he and his wife and Rudy, they went, and I kept my word, you know. And that was something about standing together. If I say I'm going to be there, even if it takes 18 months, I'm going to be there. And if we give you my word that I'm gonna stand with Ukraine, then you're standing with Ukraine to the day the war is over and you won. So that's what it means to stand together, because a lot of people can stand together during a hype season, but friends stand together in good times and bad times, and they don't leave in bad times. Then they're no friends. About the backpacks, we were together in a meeting with Rudy in your warehouse in Lviv, and the plan came about the backpacks. There was a Scottish doctor or English doctor, a woman who had the first backpack, and she wanted to show it. So we want to show this backpack, and Rudy tried to get donors to get interested, but nobody was on board with it. And then he was like, Sebastian, say something. And I said, we're going to do 500 backpacks. And he was like, do you know how much they cost? And I was like, no, but I will pay for the first 60. So I paid for the first 60. Then we paid for, I think, 136 or something, the first. But then Per Svärdson, he was the CEO of Apotea, he heard and was like, these backpacks are amazing. How did you deliver them? And I was like, we fixed it. I paid for them with more organization. And it was like, what? And then I'm going to pay for. So he paid for additionally, 150 backpacks, and then it just went on. And now it's like 1,160 backpacks or something. It's crazy. But Per Svärdson is like the most influential businessman in Sweden. He wins all the prizes about how to develop a company, and it's like the man. So, but he also has a big heart for Ukraine, and also in Apotea. Apotea is the largest distributor of medicine in Sweden on the internet. It's like a huge company. But every time when they pack the bags and stuff, they come together as a company, and everybody's there, and so he involved all the company, into Ukraine, and when Rudy comes and people come from Ukraine, he is like, hey, listen now, this is what we're doing, and he has a really big heart, and he has done a lot for Ukraine. Yeah, I heard that the health department said that they saved 7 lives per backpack or something. So that's it. And then you can do the math. It's like a village. It's like a big village. But I usually go to front, so I talk to the evac teams and the medic teams. So they loved it, We also did these stabilization points, and then we can do one. We put everything that they need, and then the rocket, boom, gone. And then we build it up again. So I know I've seen firsthand on how important it is to have medicine and this kind of equipment in the front. Especially the backpack, since evacuation is very, very hard because of the drones. So this was a brilliant idea. It saves lives. I think that Sweden and Ukraine will have a lot to do together, and this is a key partnership, for those relations. It's not that you need to help me, because it's like the opposite, or we need to help you. We need to stand together, and we need to fight together for Ukraine. You are fighting for Europe. You're fighting for the freedom of all of Europe. So you need and you deserve to get all the help you get.